Prince Albert of Monaco and his wife, Princess Charlene, seem beautiful. However, there are rumors that they allegedly have problems in their marriage, and the reason for this may be another woman who has long played an important role in the prince's life. This woman is former flight attendant Nicole Coste. They hid their love for many years, but the truth eventually came out. And today their common son is no longer a secret, but a prominent figure in Monaco. Is it true that people in Monaco love Nicole more than Charlene? Also, can Albert's eldest son, who is already 20 years old today, claim the throne? Everything you want to know about Monaco's royal family's secrets will be covered in this video. On July 2, 2011, Prince Albert of Monaco and former athlete Charlene Whitstock married, marking one of the most high-profile events in the royal world that year. Thousands of people gathered at the church to welcome the new Princess of Monaco, who married one of the richest royals. The prince's fortune is estimated to be about $1 billion. For many years, he was considered one of the most eligible bachelors in the world. However, despite the fairy tale-like narrative, Princess Charlene appeared visibly unhappy during the ceremony, often seen wiping away tears with a handkerchief. Her distress raised concerns, as happy brides don't typically display such emotions. It soon became clear that Princess Charlene had a good reason to be sad. After their wedding, several publications exposed the unfortunate reality that there had been a lot of pain and tears in Charlene and Prince Albert's relationship. It was revealed that the bride had wanted to separate just before the wedding. Additionally, Charlene had attempted to flee from Monaco to her home country of South Africa. However, she was intercepted each time and persuaded to return. The first attempt reportedly occurred after she was at a bridal gown fitting in Paris before their wedding, and Charlene took refuge in the South African embassy. The second and third alleged attempts reportedly took place in Monaco, the first during the 2010 Grand Prix and apparently resulting in her passport being confiscated by Prince Albert's entourage. The third alleged escape attempt occurred 2 days before their July wedding. Princess Charlene booked a one-way ticket home to South Africa, but was intercepted on her way to Nice and persuaded to stay for the 3-day wedding. While the couple did tie the knot in a lavish 3-day wedding, the press reported that Princess Charlene cried openly throughout the day. There are reports that the couple spent their wedding night in separate rooms, with Charlene's guarded. The Royal Court of Monaco denied all reports, calling them rumors and conjectures of journalists. The Prince of Monaco and his wife Charlene went to court and proved that the Sunday Times, which spread the story of Charlene's escape from the wedding, was wrong. The story was officially declared untrue, and the royal family even received monetary compensation for their moral suffering. However, Charlene had good reason to cry. Just days before the wedding, a Brazilian woman claimed that the prince had fathered a child with her during his relationship with Charlene, sparking a terrible scandal in the press. This revelation came to light as Charlene was trying on a wedding dress, leading her to make her first attempt to escape. Despite Albert's lawyer describing the claim as a hoax, Charlene had doubts about her future husband due to his reputation as a playboy. Additionally, former flight attendant Nicole Coste, with whom the prince had a child before his official engagement to Charlene, came to Monaco and gave interviews to journalists, drawing significant attention to herself and clearly irritating Charlene. But what did Nicole want, and why was she acting so provocatively? You will understand everything when you discover the full story of Prince Albert and his ex-girlfriend. Prince Albert Grimaldi is the only son of Prince Rainier III of Monaco and his wife, Hollywood star Grace Kelly. He grew up in a luxurious palace surrounded by his parents' love. As the only male heir in the family, high hopes have always been placed on him. His son will be the next heir to the throne. However, the prince did not think about family and children in his youth, as he had too many temptations. The most beautiful models in the world dreamed of spending time with him. Indeed, Prince Albert was often seen surrounded by beautiful models and actresses during his 20s and 30s. The number of beauties in his life was constantly growing, including models Carla Bruni and Janice Dickinson, singer Kylie Minogue, actresses Bo Derek and Brooke Shields, and actor Roger Moore's daughter, Deborah. However, if there was any truth to these romances, they were never confirmed. In 1993, rumors appeared that the Prince of Monaco was dating top model Claudia Schiffer. They were often seen together at social events, including the Grand Prix. Some claimed Albert sent flowers to her magazine shoots, and others suggested there had been dates. Therefore, many people had a burning question: was the Prince of Monaco going to propose to the highest-paid model of his time? "I prefer not to talk about that," Claudia told Vanity Fair in 1993 in Paris, when journalists asked her about her relationship with the Prince of Monaco. "But one thing I can tell you," she continued, "is that I'm not getting married right now. I'm only 22. I don't know Albert very well. I live in Monte Carlo, so it's only normal." In one publication, journalists suggested Albert proposed to her, but she refused. Others claimed that the prince was fascinated by model Kristen McManamy. But despite numerous rumors, the prince could not find his princess for long. "It was not only scared me, but also many women I have known," Albert said in 2005. The fact is that his chosen one had to face a lot of pressure. People would anyway compare her to his mother, the gorgeous Hollywood actress Grace Kelly. Albert probably also dreamed that his future wife would be like his mother. She had to be very beautiful, have great career achievements, and have an ideal reputation. "It will be very difficult for whoever will be with me, not even in marriage. Whoever goes out with me seriously, even if she does not look remotely like my mother, she will be compared to her," the prince said in an interview. In his search for his ideal partner, the prince had short relationships with ordinary but charming women. For instance, in 1992 he dated an American waitress, Tamara Rotolo, and this relationship led to the birth of a child the same year. It took 11 years for Albert to learn about his daughter from this relationship. In 2006, he officially acknowledged his daughter Jasmine and now has a good relationship with her. But one of the prince's most significant and longest romances before he married Charlene occurred in 1997, when he met flight attendant Nicole Coste during a flight from Nice to Paris. So why did this woman captivate him so much? Nicole wasn't supposed to be on the flight that day, but had to go to work to replace a colleague. Miss Coste lived in France, was divorced, and raised two sons. Her father was a merchant in Togo, West Africa. This charming woman always worked in first class, so she was used to dealing with VIPs. When I saw Albert, our eyes met, and I knew this was different. There was definitely an aura around him, and we hit it off immediately. I found him attractive with a twinkle in his eye, she said in an interview. The prince asked for her phone number. Instead of writing it on a napkin, she wrote it on proper paper from the first-class cabin. The girl admitted that at that time, high-ranking people did not frighten her at all. She always felt comfortable around them. Therefore, she felt at ease next to the Prince of Monaco from the first day. However, as she admits, it was not love at first sight. Sometime later, Albert called Nicole and invited her to Monaco for the weekend. Flattered by the attention, she bought a ticket and stayed at his private apartment. I think he was attracted by my softness, but I was determined not to be a plaything. I needed him to respect me. I was determined that he wouldn't make love until we got to know each other better. Albert respected that. I was no gold digger. If anything, I bought him gifts. Nicole remembers that wonderful time. She didn't expect to fall in love with the prince, but one day it happened. According to her, she woke up at night and realized that she loved him. "It is not my fault I fell in love with the prince," Nicole said defensively. Their romance lasted 6 years. No one in Monaco suspected that the prince was dating the flight attendant, as the couple kept their relationship a secret. Their romance was probably the best-kept secret in Monaco. Sometimes Prince Albert and Nicole Coste came to the same social events, but never showed they knew each other. Why couldn't they be together openly if it was such a strong love? After all, the prince was unmarried and could date whomever he wanted. But you should remember that Albert is not just an ordinary man. He is a royal figure, which means he cannot freely choose his partner. His family and the entire country must approve of his choice. When he tried introducing Nicole to his father, Prince Rainier III, the father could not accept his son's choice. As a result, the couple had no chance. The whole point is that Albert understood that his companion should be a woman similar to his mother, the great Hollywood actress Grace Kelly. She must become the mother of the heirs to the throne, so she must be ideal in every way. While Albert was secretly dating the flight attendant, he met the woman who was ideal for the role of the mother of the heirs. In 2000, the prince met his future wife, Charlene Wittstock, at the Mare Nostrum swimming event in Monaco. Albert, who had always been a big sports fan, was delighted with this girl who was 20 years younger than him. She was a successful swimmer and represented her home country, South Africa, at the Olympics. She had great achievements in sports. She was sophisticated and beautiful, but most importantly, she was very similar to the prince's mother, the late Grace Kelly. This probably played a decisive role in the prince's decision to make her his wife. His relatives and others pressured the prince to decide who would become his wife quickly. Monaco needed male heirs to the throne to prevent the principality from becoming part of France again. While Albert's father, Prince Rainier, was alive, he changed the constitution to decree that only the legitimate offspring of Albert or his sisters, Caroline and Stephanie, could inherit the royal title. This ensured that if Albert died childless, Caroline or her children would ascend to the throne. Prince Rainier did not make this decision lightly, as he likely knew that his son might have illegitimate children and was afraid they might claim the throne. Interestingly, this change occurred just a year before the birth of Prince Albert and Nicole Coste's son. Gradually, the prince's relationship with the flight attendant faded. They had less and less contact until one day when she revealed that she was pregnant. "When I first broke the news to Albert, he was fine about it," she says. "He said I should keep the baby and promised to support me. However, months later, the prince's enthusiasm waned. I think palace officials had got to him, possibly pointing out future inheritance problems." In 2003, Nicole Coste gave birth to a son, whom she named Alexandre Coste. When the boy was born, Prince Albert of Monaco provided a generous financial allowance for Nicole and her son. He arranged for them to live in an exquisite villa on the French Riviera. Despite the scandal that arose in Monegasque society due to Alexandre's birth, Prince Albert was initially a loving and supportive father. Nicole even mentioned that she taught the prince how to change his son's diapers, highlighting his hands-on approach to caring for his child. Albert and his son shared an affectionate, natural father-son relationship with trips and pirate-themed birthday parties, she reveals. The prince was proud of his son, often cuddling him warmly. In private, Albert was actively involved in parenting his child. Although he initially refused to acknowledge paternity, Nicole had to spend much time and effort convincing Albert to take a paternity test, but the prince hesitated. This went on for many months before Albert agreed to take a DNA test in one of the laboratories in Switzerland. The former lovers conducted long and difficult negotiations. The prince was probably concerned that a son born to a woman who was not his wife could complicate his succession to the throne. He provided his former mistress and his son with everything they needed and visited the child, but apparently wanted to keep everything a secret. However, this wasn't enough for Nicole Coste. She did not want her son to remain a secret. She dreamed of giving him a wonderful future so that everyone would know he was the official son of the Prince of Monaco. This was the reason for their disagreement. Negotiations between the two former lovers lasted a very long time, but in the end Albert had to take a DNA test, which proved his paternity. After receiving undeniable proof of his paternity, he still did not want to acknowledge his child publicly. As a result, Nicole took it upon herself to inform everyone about her son. In 2005, she granted an extensive interview to Paris Match magazine, revealing that Prince Albert is the father of her son, Alexander. Nicole, who had already left her job as a flight attendant then, supplied the publication with photographs of Albert holding the child and all the necessary documents. Coste revealed to the publication that she was living in the prince's Paris apartment and receiving financial support from him. To maintain discretion, she pretended to be the girlfriend of one of his friends. She said they dated on weekends for about 6 years, until Albert's father intervened. Their relationship grew distant after that, except for the night they celebrated her 31st birthday together, which resulted in Alexandre's birth. Miss Coste told Paris Match that she had threatened the Monegasque prince with a lawsuit if he did not acknowledge that the child was his. As a result, in December 2003, he signed a notarized document acknowledging paternity. However, he requested not to be registered as the father until Prince Rainier's death. Miss Coste was not given a copy of the document and said she had been fighting ever since to obtain one. Nicole clarified that she did not see herself as a gold digger and had no intention of her son inheriting the throne. Her only goal was to seek justice, ensuring that the biological father officially recognized his son and took responsibility for him. After the interview, a major scandal erupted in Monaco. What's most surprising is that this happened just a few weeks before Albert's official coronation in 2005. The prince was furious about his former mistress's actions. It was inappropriate, Albert said regarding Coste's comments, adding that he was not made aware of what she was going to say in her interview. However, he had no choice but to acknowledge his son officially. After the coronation, he announced that he had a son. Still, he clarified that this child would never inherit the throne because, according to the law, only children born within an official marriage can become heirs. Since then, Prince Albert has been helping his son financially and maintaining friendly relationships with him. It seemed that Nicole got everything she could have dreamed of. She quit her job as a flight attendant and became a fashion designer. She also regularly attended social events. Her son became the official son of the Prince of Monaco and received the name Alexandre Grimaldi. But why couldn't Nicole calm down? Why did she begin to appear more and more often in the press? And why did she dislike Princess Charlene, who became the prince's new wife? Just a year after Albert was declared the ruler of Monaco and announced his son with a former flight attendant, he began appearing publicly with his new girlfriend, swimmer Charlene Wittstock. They made their public debut as a couple at the opening ceremony of the 2006 Winter Olympics. 4 years later, they announced their engagement. This event upset the prince's former mistress, Nicole, because Albert began to spend less and less time with his son. Right before the wedding of Prince Albert and Charlene, paparazzi photographed a woman very similar to Nicole holding a child on the streets of Monaco. Journalists said the prince's former mistress specially came to Monaco to disrupt the wedding. However, Nicole later said that she did not intend to do this. Plus, she said she was on a cruise with friends that day. Therefore, all this is nothing more than a staging by people interested in inflating the scandal even more. However, the scandal really happened. What suffered most from it was Charlene Wittstock, who was so upset by the public pressure that she even wanted to run away from her wedding. However, Nicole never hid the fact that after Albert's wedding, the tension between her and the new Princess Charlene grew. It was hard for Nicole to accept that Albert began to see his son less often, as all his attention switched to his new family. During the marriage, Charlene gave birth to twins, one of whom was the male heir to the throne. It is to these children that Albert now devotes all his attention. In 2014, the Daily Mail tabloid published an article in which Nicole spoke out sharply against Charlene, essentially accusing her of depriving Alexander of her father out of jealousy. However, in an interview with Paris Match, Nicole assures that she did not give any interviews to Daily Mail or say anything bad about Charlene. But at the same time, she does not hide the fact that one incident that happened during the engagement of Albert and a swimmer from South Africa drove her crazy. The fact is that when Alexander was visiting his father's palace in Monaco, Charlene allegedly took advantage of Albert's absence and moved the boy into the servant's room. This fact infuriated Nicole because her son was the official son of the Prince of Monaco himself. Because of this incident, the two women immediately disliked each other. Unsurprisingly, Charlene was upset about this woman's presence in their family. Maybe that's why she cried so much at the wedding. These two women did not love each other, although they did not show it. Charlene did not like that Albert's former mistress constantly appeared in their lives and reminded her of herself. Nicole was annoyed that she and her son felt abandoned after the prince's wedding. In addition, she became unwanted in Monaco society as she was no longer invited to social events. The organizers were afraid that this would lead to conflicts. Nicole explained, "After the wedding I suffered because some socialites stopped inviting me to events. If they thought the prince and princess would be there, they thought it would cause embarrassment." Some people probably thought inviting Nicole to the event would be seen by the royal family as betraying the throne. People were worried that Albert and Charlene would react negatively to Nicole's appearance at the party. Because of this, Nicole had to move to London in 2013 with her son. Prince Albert did not see his son for months because of this reason. Nicole thought it was all Princess Charlene's fault. She considered her an evil stepmother because the father and son were distant. European tabloids were full of discussions about the rivalry between the two women, fueled by endless rumors about a possible divorce between Albert and Charlene. Some tabloids have claimed that the marriage between the prince and Charlene is fake. Allegedly, there has been no love between the couple for a long time, and Charlene is forced to play the role of the prince's wife in exchange for a good reward. The Palace of Monaco denies all this, but journalists are eager to discuss the royal family. For example, when Charlene was seriously ill and out of the public eye, they approached Nicole and asked for her opinion. The prince's former mistress spoke critically on this issue. "I don't care what's going on with her. Why should I?" Nicole told the Daily Mail. She said the princess could have deserved the illness that hit her. "Everything that is happening to her is karma," she claimed. Nicole also said that people in Monaco allegedly don't like the princess at all. "The people in Monaco love me more than they do Charlene. They really love and respect me," Nicole said. But is it true? Many people in Monaco really were concerned when Princess Charlene became seriously ill, causing her to stop attending royal events and undergo treatment in Switzerland. Some citizens believed the princess was not loyal to the crown and wanted to break up with the prince. But many understood that the princess was simply seriously ill. In any case, we cannot agree that everyone in Monaco loves Nicole more than Charlene. After all, Charlene is the mother of the royal heir. Due to attacks from the press and his former mistress against Charlene, Albert often had to stand up for his wife and defend her in public. He probably hinted to his former mistress that she should not talk like that about the mother of his children. Therefore, Nicole's statements toward Charlene became much softer. Given our respective ties to the prince, we should have made sure to support each other cordially. In our situation, diplomacy had to prevail, Nicole said in one of her interviews. When Princess Charlene stepped back from royal duties due to illness, there was increased talk in Monaco society about Nicole Coste. The prince's former mistress returned from London to Monaco and started making frequent appearances at prominent events. On more than one occasion, she expressed a strong desire to actively participate in royal life, such as engaging in charity work, which is quite unusual for a prince's ex-girlfriend. However, Nicole Coste is a true royal family member as the mother of the prince's eldest son. For instance, wearing a red dress, she attended the annual Red Cross Ball in Monaco in July 2023. Interestingly, the Prince of Monaco and his wife Charlene were also present at this event. It seems that Nicole wasn't at all fazed by their presence, as she appeared very confident at the event. Today, Nicole Coste is 53 and her son Alexander is 20. Despite leaving her profession as a flight attendant almost 20 years ago, many people in the press still refer to her as such, which upsets Nicole. She wants people to recognize her real achievements, including being a successful fashion designer and the mother of 3 children, one of whom is the eldest son of the Prince of Monaco. Nicole created her own clothing brand in London, but it had to be closed due to the pandemic. She is also passionate about architecture and space decoration and has ambitions to develop projects in these areas and establish a cosmetics brand. In the future, she hopes to focus more on charity, particularly helping children from disadvantaged families. Nicole's main dream has already come true. Her son regularly communicates with his father and receives his help. For example, when Alexander turned 18, the royal court of Monaco organized a luxurious celebration for him, first in a restaurant and then in one of the luxurious clubs in Monaco. When Alexander turned 20, he celebrated this day with his family. On that day, Prince Albert and his first daughter, Jasmine Grace Grimaldi, from waitress Tamara Rotolo, gathered at the festive table. Of course, Nicole Coste was also present at this event. She sat next to Prince Albert and smiled happily. However, Princess Charlene was not with them that day. Numerous photographs in the media show that Alexander has an excellent relationship with his older sister. He also met his younger siblings, twins Prince Jacques and Princess Gabriella. In one of the photos, all four of Prince Albert's children are captured together in a good mood. Alexander has a promising future. Although he will never be able to claim the throne of Monaco, he is one of the heirs to his father's vast fortune, valued at more than $1 billion. He briefly pursued a career in modeling but decided to focus on his studies instead. His primary goal is to work with his father and become a global ambassador for Monaco. When Alexander turned 20, he gave his first interview to the French magazine Point de Vue and later to Tatler. I aspire to work in a relationship with my dad and become this, let's say, global ambassador for Monaco and to bring business opportunities back to Monaco, which is what I've talked about with him. Apparently, he seriously decided to go public and take an important position in Monaco society. He honestly says he does not like it when someone in the press calls him illegitimate. Nor am I illegitimate, since when I was born, neither of my parents was in another marriage, and they did not commit adultery. Using that word is insulting. I hope no one believes the lies conveyed on the internet. One bears the name of one's father when one has been recognized since birth. I had voluntary recognition from my father when I was a baby, not from a judge or the press who had forced him to, Prince Albert's son said. Alexander admits that his mother has been his main source of support, but he now feels it's time for him to become independent. He plans to move to New York alone to attend university, where he intends to study business or international relations. Like his father, Alexander is passionate about sports, especially football, basketball, and tennis. He also recognizes the responsibility of being a prince's son and plans to work in charity. Additionally, Alexander shared a personal detail. At age 20, he already has a girlfriend he met in Monaco. They plan to relocate to New York together and are searching for an apartment in the Soho area, known for its various shops and restaurants. When journalists ask Alexander how he sees his future, he answers, "Finishing my studies, working with charities, trying to impact those less privileged than I am, as well as working in a relationship with Monaco with my dad. I've got a good plan, so I'm really happy about that." Alexander promises to do his job honorably and honor his legacy and his family. He considers himself kind and respectable, so he promises to do justice to his name. Surprisingly, Prince Albert's affair with former flight attendant Nicole Coste was once the biggest secret in Monaco, but today the popular Tatler magazine calls their son Alexandre the fresh face of Monaco. Who knows, maybe this young man will truly bring something new and important to a small kingdom with a long history. For example, through his presence in Monaco's public life, he could help people overcome past prejudices and embrace a more modern outlook. Don't you think so?